Hi, are you here? Can you hear me? You're muted.
Hi.
Hi. So we're in the breakout rooms, and I have to put you to a breakout room according to your level. So what's your level?
I hope C1.
Okay. Let's try C1. Here you go.
Thank you.
Use meat, like meat and leather, of course. Maybe teeth, crocodile's teeth. And it was really shame because for me, because I didn't know about it at all. And there wasn't clear at all. That was clear. I mean, I don't know this information. I didn't know any information out about this farm. And in general, culture is really close to me. I would say I like Indian culture, not literally like dancing and singing, no, not at all, but culture itself. Their attitude to nature, their attitude to other people, relationships between people, between young and senior, etc., etc., etc. I was lucky that I am lucky that I have been there, and I'm lucky that I touch just a piece of their culture. It was wonderful. Okay, your turn, please.
Pavel, you can ask for any one or first or second question. It's a little bit the same. Maybe you can.
Do you hear me? Okay. I've just wanted to ask Eugene, Matvey, about.
Yeah, I see.
About his visit.
Somewhat. It was totally free, 4 days of totally freedom, and that I spent as I liked, and it was great.
4 days, it's like such a short period of time. Usually people have a vacation 2 weeks, maybe even 1 month. Why was it only 4 days? Was it expensive to stay there?
It's expensive, and I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, and I can't allow myself to leave them for a more long period than 4 or 5 days, because
how old are they? Are they small?
No, they aren't small. They're 14 and 9 at that moment, but I'm hostess of the whole house, and I'm a member of a family, and I'm a mom. So 4 days, it's okay for myself, because several years ago I couldn't allow myself no 1 days to spend it without kids and without family. So 4 or 5 days with the commute, not commute, I think the way to my hotel, it's totally okay for me. And I felt that I had a great rest, and I totally reloaded, because Maldivian is far from Moscow, where I live, and long distance gives us a feeling of freedom, because your boss can't call to you because you are in roaming. So
they can call you, but you can just decline the call
yeah,
or
I
not
can
answer
just,
it.
Yeah, because 1 minute costs for 3,000 rubles.
You're not supposed to use mobile phone. You just go over the internet, WhatsApp,
Yeah.
Telegram, so it doesn't really cost anything.
No,
Your boss can reach you, and he doesn't have to pay the 1,000 rubles per minute, so it's possible.
No, I stayed my phone at my safe. So.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Mikhail, Sasha. I think you want to tell.
Yeah, if Sasha or Mikhail, if you want to join the conversation, please hop in.
Yeah, as I understand, I need to tell you about my travel experience, right?
Or you can talk about whatever you want. The topic is travel agent.
Okay, let's talk about travel. Last year, our family planned to go to Turkey for vacation in the summer, but after the war situation happened, we decided to go there not only for a purpose of getting rest, but also to stay and live here. I'm staying here because we still live here, and we've been to many different places, and it's really beautiful. This country is really beautiful. Recently, we've been in the local mountains, and we've seen waterfalls, and it's really beautiful here.
That's great. So many picturesque places of interest.
Yeah.
Do you like the geography? You like the landscape, or you like architecture, or you like maybe animals, people? What exactly was beautiful in Turkey?
Views. I love natural views and maybe architecture a bit, but there is not so much of architecture in our town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you interested in photography? Because you sound like you would take some great photos.
Yeah, I've taken really many photos and videos. I've seen really wonderful landscapes, and I thought that it would be a great opportunity to capture something really, oh my God.
Yeah,
capture this.
You probably share like it on Instagram or on Facebook or any other social media, or you keep it to yourself.
I even own my own blog, and I regularly post there my photos.
Great.
Yeah. I think that's all.
How many months did you spend in in this country?
We've been here since August of the previous year.
And how was the winter? Do you have a heater in your flat, or you used air condition for heating?
We used heating because it was not warm in winter. There was no snow, but it was still like R4 was still cold. And because we live on the first floor, and it may be a reason why we used heating.
Do you live in the north or in the south of the country, close to the Black Sea or close to the Mediterranean Sea? I'm not sure which one is to the south.
How the second sea is called? Please repeat. I don't know.
Do you live in the north or in the south?
In the south.
In the south, like in Antalya or somewhere
Alanya,
else?
right next to the beach.
Is it maybe is it a little boring live there because Alanya is very small town? No,
no, it's quite interesting here. there is much of infrastructure, and we just have much fun here.
Would you mind, folks, ask Mikhail one more question? I'm just hi for those.
Yeah, of course.
Vladimir, Svetlana, Dana, long time no see, so I don't share my camera. Just I'm trying to fix the traffic right now. Can you tell Mikhail what is the way to get a job there? Do you need any special documents, any work permit, or you should work like a kind of freelancer?
Well, I don't know. I'm not the person that you should ask because I'm 15 years old actually.
Yeah, you sound like you still go to school.
That's a good answer. 15 years old.
I don't have a job.
So how is your parents get a job? If not, it's not a secret. If they get a job,
they're working online.
So they're freelancers, or their bosses let them work online.
No, they're not really freelancers, but well, I'm not sure how to answer this question. My father is managing his business in Russia through internet, and my mom, she's creating online content.
And I'm sorry for this question. How do you learn now? And have you some plans to get high education abroad, or maybe you will back to Russia?
Yes, I have plans on education abroad, and I'm not gonna study in Turkey because I don't really like education here. My dream is to study in Europa or US. No, it's more like my goal.
Okay.
And what kind of career do you want to pursue? Like, do you want to become an IT specialist, or do you want to do something with photos, videos?
Well, I'm not certain about this right now, but I think about a medicine direction. IT also interests me, so now I'm in some sort of uncertainty.
Yeah, maybe you can combine these two areas and create
kind of
a robot which will use AI to treat people remotely from one continent to another. Maybe you have AI dentistry invented, who knows? So you can combine different areas.
Yeah, I can do this. Is someone gonna tell us Dan Polanski?
Yeah, I think Dan shared his experience, but then maybe you want to add something?
Okay.
Am I the last person who needed to tell something?
I think Sasha joined the last.
Yeah, I just don't want to, interfere and don't want to stop anyone, because if I start talking, it looks like I will speak for the next hour. That's why I have a lot to tell you about. Actually, I'm traveling right now. I'm just in the car. I'm trying to get this Best Buy Wi-Fi. That's why I cannot even get camera, because traffic is not enough. I was trying with my two iPhones, but they don't really work well. Yeah, that's why I was wondering what's the actually how the Mikhail get a job, but it find out that he doesn't, because his parents actually do.
But your sound actually is pretty good, so I think the connection is good enough. Even though we cannot see your video, your sound is coming through okay.
Yeah, sound is coming because it's less traffic. Usually, I do some kind of estimation how much for the sound, how much for the video. Sound is usually like 25 megabyte for one hour I have, but the video is usually about, in my case,
1 gigabyte, about 1 gigabyte per hour, more or less.
I mean, I see the file which I save when I do the recording and other stuff, like in the converted format, like AAC for the Mac, and it's about like 40 to maximum 50. I mean, if it's like the regular rate for like 256 or 228, but if it's video, it's usually about like 700 megabytes. That's why I just
for whatever reason on Windows, I think it's usually about 1 gigabyte per hour, more or less, on this rate.
Especially
if it's stream video, if you watch video, and
if it's a if it's a guest account, because it's a guest Wi-Fi, they don't really give you much access. They'll usually limit this stuff because too much people come in here. So I mean, if you want to see my face, I will send you my my video, just like usually 2 hours. I'm telling people how to do this or that stuff. It's not a big deal. Just I can share my Telegram. And
you can just post your photo, like me.
You can just use your avatar instead of just a black screen. But for the reason Zoom doesn't really
tell me how to do this stuff. I'm not really sure.
You can do it in the settings screen, but it doesn't really work properly for the reason I have 2 accounts, and on one it works and on the other it doesn't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm not really sure. But what I'm saying, you can do this, so you will be represented by something else rather than just a black screen. Okay, let's get down to the travel. Maybe you want to tell us, where did you travel? You said that you are in a car. Where do you go?
Why did you say I'm in the trouble? I'm not in the trouble. Yeah, I'm in
the travel, not trouble.
I get
you. Maybe you are in the trouble. I'm not sure.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm kind of. Every day is a travel. So you travel in all your life. So technically, yeah, I'm going to New York right now, and maybe after New York it will be Trenton, because we have, we need to fix some problems with the rent 2 rooms. That's why I'm going there. So going back and forth, it's kind of a little journey. I mean, according the distance, I would say like 200 miles this way, 200 miles that way. So I guess it's a little bit kind of travel. It's like what?
Do you have a Tesla, or you drive yourself?
No, I don't have Tesla, and I don't like Tesla. It's a kind of piece of shit. Sorry for my Russian. But
sure, but any other car with an autopilot function?
I don't need this stuff, man. I like to drive by myself.
Yeah, but what I mean, you can relax when you go from one city to another. If it takes like 20 hours to go there, you can just do whatever you want.
20 hours. It's usually 4 hours from Boston to New York, and an hour and a half from New York to Trenton. So I'm actually,
still 5 hours.
I don't like to drive, man. I don't like to trust some kind of, artificial intelligence or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't trust the machines.
I mean, I trust them in this or that case, but I don't trust that the machine will drive instead of me. I drive better than machine. I'm telling you. Even if I make a mistake, it's my mistake, and it's my life, and I want to control my life. I don't want that machine will control my life. Even though I will be.
Sasha, sorry, I interrupt you. And Tesla doesn't drive instead of yourself.
Tesla drives. Tesla drives by itself. You don't know. We have a lot of programs where, in California, there's some, it just depends on the software. The software lets you, driveless. So it drives by itself. Not only Tesla, by the way. There's some other cars like Polaris right now, if I'm not mistaken, Rivian, some other electric cars. So we have some other, I don't know, Chevy, does Chevy introduce this stuff, or they still go into, but the Priuses, by the way.
I actually tested Tesla. It does drive by itself. It has an autopilot function. We tested it in Moscow. One of my colleagues had a Tesla, and we just was walking, we were going around the center of Moscow, and he was just sitting there. He did not control the car at all.
Exactly.
So I think it was cool in a way.
You can see the video on their website. You can actually go to the yandex.ru, and you see the Yandex actually have a really big program here. So they use mostly Priuses, Toyota Priuses. It's also without any driver. It's mostly within artificial intelligence. So a couple of cars they drive. And also I see the Volvo XC90 that's also, drives without driver. But it's up to people who do want it to be, as you said, to be relaxed or to do something that they want to do. It's in this or that case, it's kind of safe. Maybe between the cities, it's more or less safe. In the city, I'm not really sure in the traffic because, some drivers.
Yeah, but You say that you are an expert driver, and obviously, I'm not trying to contest you here. Clearly, you know what you're talking about, you know a lot of things about cars, and you probably have like 20, 25 years of experience. But if we take like an average driver, an AI is probably better than an average driver and is much better than a drunk driver.
Of course, it's much better than a drunk driver.
Yeah.
No doubt. It's much better than a drunk driver. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the point. So, like the average is much better and much safer. And obviously, in extreme situations, you take control and you.
Man, you are right. I don't argue with you, but the problem that I don't drink actually. So there's no case for me to trust
Maybe you can start drinking, so then you can rely on AI and relax.
That's the point.
One of the ways to solve the problem.
Finally, I realized that I should start drinking.
Yeah, now you have a reason to start drinking.
No, I don't have any reasons to start drinking. Even though somebody give me the car without the driver, if I have a driver who will drive for me, actually, I paid several years. I pay for my personal driver. I don't drink. That's my point. I don't understand why should I. I mean, somebody says blah blah blah, like a couple of glasses of red wine, white wine is like healthy, blah blah blah. It's their choice. It's not my choice. My choice is not to drink. That's it. But
fair enough.
Fair enough.
No, you sound like you exercise this Stoic philosophy from the Greece, from that ancient time. Like you, instead of indulging into some things, instead of eating, instead of drinking, you just.
I was living in Moscow,
limiting yourself
for 20 years, and most of my neighbors were always drunk, and they kick and push, and insult their families, their wives, their children, their even neighbors. So I see this shit for 20 years. And my relation to alcohol is the only one. I know what's the consequences. I don't say that blah blah blah, you don't need to drink too much. But usually it starts with one glass.
Obviously, I understand it starts with one shot. I was actually raised in this kind of environment. I was living in a communal apartment. We had 5 families, and we shared the same apartment. And we had alcoholics, we had criminals, we had drug addiction people. And I was a kid in this kind of an apartment. So I lived there for about 25 years. So I have firsthand experience dealing with this kind of people. And yes, personally, I don't drink, but I do not like to have this kind of distinction, like black and white, like all alcohol is bad and no alcohol is good. It's not exactly like this. But I do understand what you're talking about. I've seen these wife beaters, I've seen these criminals, I've seen people who just ruined their lives simply because they were drinking too much or drinking at all.
If I find some, evidence that alcohol, like in the really small amounts, give really big, I don't know, help or benefit, like I don't know, my brain start working better, or possibility of cancer will disappear or whatever, I will start doing something like this. But I will try to find some other way. But at least I'm still kind of searching for this, like white wine, red wine, blah blah blah. Neveu Beaujolais or quelque chose, something like this.
Sure, fair enough. Anyone has an opinion to share on alcohol, or maybe we can combine this alcohol and travel, like taste local cuisine when you go to a different country?
Have you ever been in the fest in Lyon? As I told you, like Neveu Beaujolais, like new Beaujolais wine. They usually do it in October, if I'm not mistaken.
The only fest I know is Oktoberfest in Germany, where they drink a lot of beer. That's practically the only fest I know about.
Yeah, it's a kind of Oktoberfest, but it's kind of a little bit different because they usually give you like free wine, this new Beaujolais, Nouveau Beaujolais, and fromage, which is cheese, and that's amazing because the quality, amazing. unpredictable. You going along the city. Usually it's in Lyon and some other southern cities of France. And it's also, this kind of cars, maybe if you see Oktoberfest, this kind of cars, people doing this kind of cars or kind of vehicles on the wheels, and they do some kind of spectacular performance along the streets, like some kind of team, so I don't know, and they're making kind of performance. Each have the kind of scenario, some kind of characters, what each of them doing, some special garments.
No, I don't think I heard about this, but I kind of get the impression. So they have a big festival. They have multiple people come from different countries.
Quickly find
their own cars
in YouTube.
Yep.
Just put the Nouveau Beaujolais Fest or something like this, or like festival of
wine and cheese in France, and probably you can find it.
Yeah, like New Beaujolais in Lyon. I see the YouTube reels for maybe 2012, 2013, 14, 15. It's usually about like 2 hours. It actually goes longer, but usually what they upload to YouTube, it's about like hour and a half, 2 hours. But yeah,
but many festivals, they have this culture of you go there, you drink free stuff, and then you just live a little bit wild life. Like the Burning Man in Nevada, like Nashastia in Russia, they just go there, drink a lot of beer, and listen to rock music, to metal music. But it's more like just to have a vacation, to go from your job, from your 8 to 9 to 10 job, and you just go there and spend your time, whatever, doing stuff. So my point is that alcohol, obviously, if you drink it excessively, it's gonna ruin your life. But if you moderately consume it just to have fun and do it responsibly, maybe it's not the worst thing. As we know from experience, there are far worse things which could happen. Not only in alcohol. You can live up to 70 years and still think you are the god of the world.
Maybe.
I agree with you, because I think the main thing is measurable. When you think about what you do, and don't drink a lot, and can have fun and feel freely, a little bit freely, and it's good thing. When you know how much you can drink without any consequences, yes, and
consequences.
I think it's great. Sometimes, not every day, surely.
Yeah, like gambling, like drinking, smoking, anything in excessive is usually bad. Anything which is moderately administered can be good. I'm not saying it is good. For many people, it will still be dangerous, but it can be good if you just measure it enough. But on the topic, I tend to avoid drinking alcohol. Obviously, I don't drink at all, but one of the reasons is that I want to have fun without alcohol, and I want to be free without this addiction. So many people drink just to feel free, and I want to avoid this. I think it's a trap, and I would like to avoid it. I would like to improve myself so that I can have fun without drinking alcohol. I think it's very important.
Yeah, I think it's a big job with psychologists sometimes with yourself. But I don't know. I think many bad habits can provide addiction, but if we think what we do and think about ourselves and care about ourselves, I think it will be all good.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
See you, folks.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, sorry for interrupting you, but we have to move on. So let's discuss some vocabulary now. Can I see the screen?
Yes.
Great. What is wanderlust? Wanderlust, I guess. What's that?
Maybe it's a desire to travel.
Absolutely. Okay, that is just the desire to travel. And
it sounds like a German word.
Yeah, well, whenever you have this lust, that refers to a very strong desire. And whatever is before lust is about, well, the object of the desire. Okay, who is a beach bum?
Person who spent all his time at the beach.
Yeah, definitely. So that is more about not adventurous person who just loves sunbathing, etc. Just spending time there. Make sure that you don't refer to, well, people who don't really know well, like beach bums, because, well, that is very colloquial and you can only use that with your friends because, well, bum is not a very formal word, you know?
Like a beach potato.
No, it's worse actually. Okay, what does that mean, off the beaten path? So you can wander off the beaten path, you can go off the beaten path. The idea is about off the beaten path.
Explore new ways.
Go
somewhere where tourists don't usually go.
Yeah, that's right. So that is less touristic, less explored places, okay? Tourist traps.
Attraction points.
Yeah.
Tourist attractions, yeah.
Well, I guess tourist attraction is not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Where they make money on tourists, like selling overpriced stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is not a good place. Just a tourist attraction is not bad per se, but a tourist trap is not like a place where you would like to go. Okay, then get away from it all. And that is like a phrase that you can use to describe some type of a vacation that you need. So what type of a vacation is that?
In wild forest and wild mountains.
Absolutely.
Where you can unplug from the reality and just go and sit or
There's no internet.
lay there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Okay, staycation. What's that?
Stay at home, never going anywhere.
Holiday at home.
Not necessarily about home, by the way.
Okay.
Maybe
Stay in
your
the same place.
home country instead of going to another country.
Maybe your town, maybe your city, maybe your country. If we're referring to a big country like, well, Russia, for example, we can't really call it staycation if you're traveling around Russia because that's big. If you are in a small country, yeah, that would be staycation. But whatever, that just means that you are planning a holiday within like the place where you usually live. And vistas. So about stunning, I guess everybody knows stunning. What's vista?
Attraction point site.
Nope. Well,
No?
you're close.
But it sounds like a Latin word for a site.
I thought view. It says view. Isn't it?
Absolutely, that's view. Yeah, that is literally the Latin word, but it's not like the side, but more about the view, like picturesque view, picturesque vista. Literally the same thing.
Vista, it's view in Spanish.
Yeah, and it's also
And
one of the versions
Italian,
for Windows.
Italian as well. In Italian, like that. Okay, nostalgia tourism.
Going back to old places where you've been before, maybe with photos.
Revisiting those places. Yes. And when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Can you explain this phrase?
So
Great
it's,
like
it's
local
similar.
peoples.
It's similar to the Russian proverb related to that you have not come to the cathedral with your rules.
Yeah, exactly. That is the one. So when you visit a country, you have to follow the traditions and the customs of people who live in this country. Okay, let me stop the screen share then, and I'm going to send you the second set of those questions. Now you are going to
I have a question. What if we haven't finished the first bunch of questions?
That's sad. Whatever. What do you want me to say? That's just sad. If well, you cannot finish the first one. it would be definitely better to practice some new vocabulary. So that is why you will have to switch to the second set of questions. But you're going to have like really, I guess, 40 minutes, maybe even more. And in those 40 minutes, if you exhaust the list of the second set, you can come back to the first set and discuss everything that was there.
Okay.
And now I guess I will create the rooms. Let it be 19 this time. And you're able to pick a room now.
Are they created based on level of speaking?
Yeah.
Or I can just join?
No, it's always level-based. It's always level-based. Okay, what's your level? Let's start here.
Something around B1 and C1. Wait, B2 and C1.
I would definitely tell you to go to room number 16, like that, 16-ish, something like that.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, I still don't understand how I can go to room. I didn't find it, sorry.
Okay, everybody, there is this button. Session.
I'm not sure.
I have someone already posted it.
Maybe some of them are in these questions. So, have you ever experienced wanderlust?
Wanderlust.
Yeah.
What does wanderlust means? Who remember?
Definitely. Lust. It is like похоть in Russian, maybe. So wander to travel.
I think it is more about passion to travel.
Yeah, passion to travel. Exactly. So I definitely had this thing. I like to travel, and sometimes I want to go somewhere, maybe to other cities. So I had a car in Russia, so I could go and to visit my friends in 1,000 kilometers away, for example.
Thousand kilometers. Which city do you mean?
Saratov. It's not 1,000, maybe 700.
Okay. I'm from Moscow, and my relatives, some of my relatives live in Kazan. So when I was in Russia, I traveled to Kazan a few times a year by car or by train. But I don't think I have ever experienced it. Wanderlust. I like traveling, but I'm not crazy about it.
Me too, but sometimes you have such a desire.
Maybe to change your environment, to get rid of all that stuff you have at home. Maybe.
As for me, it's not an escape.
It's interesting, but I wouldn't say it is wanderlust for me.
May I ask a question? Hi, Pavel. Long time no see. I was just wondering, maybe this is the limit of your. I mean, we are limited ourselves when we don't feel enough, financial. When we are limited with the finance, don't you think so? I mean, finance and the job, of course. I mean, if your job force you to, sit in one place and they give you like 2-3 weeks, like.
Do you have any vacations?
If you work for yourself, I don't really think about vacations. Like, I'm a freelancer, so I can do it whatever I want to do. I don't need to ask my boss, could you please give me 2-3 weeks?
You can do it from wherever you want?
Of course.
Right?
Technically, yes.
Wherever or whenever.
Whenever.
It's a bit different.
Sorry, my fault.
It depends whether you're talking about like time or like the place, as I understand. Whenever, wherever.
Time. Because place, as for me, I don't have enough finances to go to any place I would like to at any time. But I have more freedom in time because I also working just for myself.
Oh, you know what? Sometimes we're kind of limited because we don't know something. I remember there was a lady, one young girl. She always wanted. She gave me she told me her wish. She wanted to go to, what is it? I don't know. The waterfall Angel. I don't know. Is it Venezuela or I don't know, some kind of this South America country. And this waterfall, it's really expensive, because there's no straight flight from Moscow, blah blah blah. So you need to pay like for several transitions. I don't know. Should you go to the Istanbul, then take Turkish airline, then other airlines to Venezuela. So technically, it's like 3-4 flights to get to this stuff, and I would say it's pretty much expensive. It's maybe at that time it was maybe $1,500, maybe $2,000, maybe more. But she was looking, and it happened that some of the, I don't know, friend of my friend, I don't know, like some, I don't know, in this guy, I don't know, he is not a friend, but some kind of familiar person. They have some kind of expedition there, and they need a kind of, language and some other stuff, assistance, and they have a fund that they were ready to pay. So they 100% reimburse you the traveling, the tickets, some accommodation stuff, but they won't just that you do some kind of translation or interpreting or whatever, and some kind of minor works.
So if you have some goal, don't stop to find opportunities to fulfill it.
Of course, chase it as much as you can. And as much as you chase it more day in, day after day, I guess it happens that way, that finally your wish will come true or your goal will come true. I don't know how to call this stuff. Is it the goal? Is it the wish? I don't know. It depends.
But I don't think it's wanderlust, because you didn't just want, you wish to visit a specific place, one specific place.
Yes, some different
maybe your dream, but
I agree.
It's not wanderlust.
So as for me, wanderlust is just I actually want to take my car and go somewhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah. I see on the second question, and I understand I'm not a beach bum at all. I prefer adventurous travel, but as we say before, not every travel can be financed, and partly we can use freelance to travel when we have a distance walk, but it's a little part of people, preliminary from IT, and today it's very difficult to travel because a lot of restriction from Russia and to Russia. I think the a lot of people now will will had a staycation.
But Russia is a big country. You can travel across it if you want to travel.
I travel over the Russia from western border to the eastern Siberia, and it's not interesting now because the people live in poor village. It's very pity. I don't see it. I can't see it.
It's kind of. I understand you. So when I was traveling to Baikal by car with my friend, I also was astonished by a lot of very poor buildings, like after bombing or something like that. Maybe it was after war. So which war? War was not came to Siberia, never. So it was just state condition of that building's natural condition. But I was very excited by the nature of that places. So finally, I was very excited of that trip we made. So it depends on your perception.
And
I won't agree.
Okay, go on. Nick, please go on.
I won't agree. Sorry, I won't argue. I agree. It depends.
And I would say those countries like Turkey and Egypt are still available for Russian tourists.
I will tell you more. It's not only Turkey and Egypt. There's other countries like Thailand, there's Argentina,
yes,
there's
of course,
African countries. Spain is still open, kind of open, kind of.
But you need a visa to get to Spain.
First, you need to get out of the Russia to Turkey, for example, and then start doing your visa stuff.
Those two countries I mentioned is the cheapest, I think, for traveling.
Probably.
More affordable than others.
Because I see, my neighbors go to Vietnam and like China. I wouldn't say like to the biggest cities, but more or less it's also really cheap there. I don't take the transportation and the, aviation, like air tickets, but more or less it's, comparatively to travel along the Russia, it's pretty much, I would say, 5, 6.
But definitely you should take it in account when you talk about traveling price, you should take into account transportation costs.
I mean, it's all in common. I mean, it's all together. I mean, if you just say, okay, where's the tickets less than $200 or $100? It's one question. If you wanna budget your travel in that like money limit, this is one question. So I don't know what amount you put in front of yourself. Sometimes I just face like I need to get to the China, I need to pay this amount to get there, and then after I get there, I can live there for. You know, I just realized it's when people come in there for a week or two. I do understand, of course, they work, but for me, it's a kind of they wasting their time because they spend like one day for flying this way, another day for going back, and they're there only for a week or for two. I don't really think. Yeah, of course they can relax there, have some rest, but not enough time to to travel a little bit or not a little bit. Of course, it also depends on the amount of money you have, or this kind of video project, Орел и Решка, and they definitely show you that one of the person really pays like less than $100 for 2-3 days, and I like when they find out that technically you can live for like you can find the hotel for $10-15 and live there. That's something that tells us that it's possible. It depends.
Actually, I lived in a center of Tokyo, in an apartment. Not big, but not very tiny apartment. So okay, so it was enough room for me, maybe 20 square meters, and it costed. It had cost about $50 per day per night. So it wasn't too expensive for Tokyo, I think.
It's cheaper. Who can ask
how many tatami it had?
I forgot.
Japanese measure
1, 2, 3, 8 tatami, the big room, and I don't know, kitchen, bathroom, how many. So the main room, it was about 10 tatami, yeah. Oh, 10, 8 tatami, I think.
Well, who can ask the 9th question? What is the most stunning vista you have ever seen while traveling?
Oh, one that how to say it correctly came to my mind. So I recalled a stunning vista from a car when I was driving with my friends in Crimea. It was very beautiful color of sea. It was kind of between blue and green, and it was very bright color. So, and it was maybe in 2002 or 2003, just after I finished my university. We went there. Very bright
Actually,
memories.
I've seen a lot of stunning vistas, but I can't recall what was the most stunning one.
It's bad that we cannot share something that we, for example, have to. We are limited in time and limited in resources. Probably each of us can share some kind of, memorable images or pictures or even videos, but because, when you just say, I see this, I see that, it's one question. But when you share this stuff and people can see it also, it's a kind of...
You can try to describe it.
Yeah. It's our goal in this event to describe it this way that other people feel like they see it.
Technically, it's not our goal. It's the goal that Oleshka just put inside of us. But the main goal that we keep talking and we don't stop. Yeah. That's the main goal. That they want us to improve our speaking skills and maybe listening. I don't know how will you really improve your listening skills, but I mean, if you speak Russian every day, do you improve your Russian?
Of course.
Like I speak Russian today. Oh, I today speak Russian better than yesterday.
Actually speaking improves your listening skills because it's connected. At least I feel it in foreign languages.
When you start, yes, but when you have some, some exact level, like I don't know, B2, C1, C2, whatever, does it really help you? Like, what level of Russian do you think we have?
It's more or less a logarithm curve. At some point, you reach saturation.
Yes.
And your language develop quite slowly.
So try to imagine that your English is the same as your Russian.
It's hard to imagine.
Why?
Because vocabulary is definitely less than in Russian.
Of course, because you speak Russian for how many? 20 years? All your life, actually. But, I mean, if you just put your vocabulary in the level, like, actually, I don't know, 9,000 words, 10,000 words, which is more or less enough. So technically, it's not how many words you know, but how many words is in your active memory.
Yeah.
You see, when
so that's why...
When you're talking with somebody and you're stuck, it looks like, I want to say this way, but I forget this word. So when you are not stuck, when you know how to say this or that way, you don't really think that, my level is going better. No, I mean, I don't really feel that stuff. I know that you have a lot of words in Russian which you never saw before, or you have no idea what is it. A lot of. It's not like 5 or 10. It's like thousands. But it still doesn't give you a feeling that you're bad or your vocabulary is small. You feel, it's my language. What's the problem?
Actually, for B2 level, it is enough to know about 4,000 words. Only 4,000. But for C1, you should know about 8,000.
Yeah. I was wondering, because you said it's enough to have 4,000 in your memory. Do you ever try to, estimate how many words do you use in English? Because it looks like, because somebody count these words, right? This 400. Somebody count them exactly from 1 to 400. So it means like, technically you should also be kind of analyzing which word do you use. Do you use all of this 400 or use some other which is extra, like 5, 6, 7 and over? Like you see, technically...
you should aspire to use all of these words,
Because you see, technically...
you will forget it otherwise.
Why do you think you should forget it? I mean, it looks like... Do you think you should forget some Russian words? Some, like, I don't know, 5,000 Russian words which you...
It's quite possible.
How many years...
Forget some Russian words. Actually, you use most of the Russian words,
Really?
I think so.
So if I give you the text, like, I don't know, lore text or architectural text, there will be a lot of words. You know these words, but I'm not really sure that you use them. It should be some.
Okay, let's try to discuss some more questions with new vocabulary, at least for me. So, have you ever had a staycation?
Staycation.
What did you do to make it feel like a real vacation? So, staycation. Do you remember the meaning of this word?
Me personally, no. I don't know.
Staycation, like vacation in your region, in your city, or in your small country, for example. You stay home. You stay at home. So you stay in your city, but you have I don't know, like you go to some river in the forest near your city with tents with your friends, and you live there for 2 weeks, for example. Fishing, I don't know, kayaking, something like that.
Actually, I have had a vacation which I spent on my village, for example.
Kind of.
For some reasons, I could not get to any other country this time, so I had to stay in my own country, and that was the way I can spend my vacation.
So was it feel like a real vacation?
More or less, at least I did not have to go to my work.
So did you feel refreshed when it was time to return to your work?
Yes, because of changing of opportunity, of activity, change of activity. So on my work, I sat in front of my computer, or on the village, I walk in the forest. I don't know. I dig the ground to grow some plants. I rode bicycle. So different kind of activities, and it helps to refresh yourself.
It is very important not to bring a laptop with you.
As far as I remember, that time laptop was very expensive thing, so not everybody had it.
What does it mean? I think how you, like, for example, if you're very tired from work, from your like routine, and you want to just go away from this, or for example, go to forest and spend all day on nature without like digital detox, or maybe on the beach or new town, maybe like this. In my town, I live in a small town in Podmoskovia, but I work in Moscow. So when I want to get from a tool, I go to the forest near my house. It's about
100 meters. When I want to get away from it all, more far, нет, подальше. А как будет подальше, кстати?
Far away.
Far away.
Не, far away это совсем, а вот подальше.
A little bit further, I would say this way.
A bit far.
Yeah, you can say
A
that way.
little bit further.
A little bit further, yeah. Or not so close.
Thank you. So when I want to get away from it all a little bit further, I go to Kaliningrad, for example. My mother and my brother, my father and my nephews lives in Kaliningrad.
Königsberg.
So, Königsberg. Kaliningrad. So it's a wonderful place. There is a forest and there is a sea, Baltic Sea. I like Baltic Sea. And dunes. I think it's a wonderful place and not far from Moscow. It's a wonderful place to get away from it all, for me.
Is it really to get a job in Königsberg, Kaliningrad?
Excuse me?
Is it really easy to get a job there?
Easy to get a job? I don't think so. It's a small town. There is no many place to get job, I think. Moscow is better.
Yeah. I think just if you work remotely, you can stay in this town and work on your laptop.
And if you have a remote work, you can, of course. But I am офисный работник. Office
employee.
Office worker.
Office worker, yeah. So, but I can work not only in office, of course, but my boss doesn't think so. He want to see me in office. I don't know why.
Do you like your boss?
Huh?
Do you like your boss? Maybe it's time to change, no?
No, he is a good man, but he is he have an ancient views.
Too stubborn, old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned boy.
Like all budgetniks.
Budget.
Bureaucracy. Okay.
He like to see all of his workers, I think.
Sounds like he likes control everything and everybody. It's why
I think
he likes
he
to be
thinks
around.
that he can't control all his workers
He can't trust.
if he can't see here.
Well, maybe he can problems like trust people, trust his workers. But okay, it's his problem, not yours.
Yes, I think so.
Yes. And Fyodor, what about you?
About my favorite way to get away from
People, yes.
Joe. So I haven't opportunity to get away from all, because so I try to, sometimes we try to go away on the nature by the sea land. So
Just so the nature is a good way, my favorite way to get away. So as for feel fresh once the vacation is over and to know about second question. So I feel refreshed on each the morning. So as for me, the vacation it's this just a minute.
But if we talk not about vacation, it's just, for example, weekend or one day, when you feel that you need be alone or maybe with your partner, without kids, without job work.
So maybe sometimes I went to church, so it helps me to get away from all. So maybe it is a way. So sometimes.
It sounds nice. Yes.
Excuse me.
And what type of church?
The Russian Orthodox Church.
Orthodox Church.
Yes. It helps me go away from all sometimes.
Yes. I think it can be helpful for like change mind.
During the service cannot disturb me. Includes the God.
Nazarke, what about you?
So I fond of hiking. That's why when I would like to get away from it, everything from all, I just go to hiking. I just go to mountains and switch my mobile phone off and spend 1 day in mountain.
Yes, I get you. I think I have same favorite. Yes, favorite way to get away from it all, because yes, when I went to hiking, when I go to hiking, I can just turn off my phone, and also on mountains usually there is no signal, so it's I can use my phone just for GPS and like track my trip. And also in hiking, when you have like 2 or 3 days, 5 days, usually you have plan and you just do like it can be like routine. Yes, how does it say? Like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and same time, and usually you know that you have like a short plan for day. For example, go 6 or 5 kilometers, and then you can stop and just chill on nature and look around and like make a few photos. I think it's helped me because it's not just about phone, it's also about sport and exercise for my body, and I feel stronger after hiking. So yes, I love mountains, and I prefer live on a mountain, yes, than on city or maybe on the beach. Yes.
Okay, maybe next question. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever had a staycation? What did you do to make it feel like a real vacation? I think I have. I never have a staycation. I always try to go away from my town.
Staycation. What is staycation?
Staycation. When you spend your vacation in your town or maybe in your country, if this country is very little, in your place.
In my hometown. Oh, so.
I had. Sorry.
We have only 15 seconds.
Yes. Thank you.